Hello, and welcome to the Courage Coalition, where we have conversations that most people feel a little uncomfortable having, where we ask the questions that maybe most of us need to ask or too afraid to ask. Today, I'm on a solo cast and I want to talk about scarcity again. As you're listening to this, it's April, which is Financial Health or Financial Awareness Month. And as you know, I am a financial coach and a bookkeeping firm owner. But what I want to talk about today is the personal scarcity story. Last month, I dropped my book, Emotional Money, which is a workbook that kind of guides you through the foundation of how I do my financial coaching. But what I want to share with you today is a more personal input because when we think about our finances, when we think about scarcity or abundance, we tend to believe that it's like I'm going to make the changes and it's one and done. And kind of if you think about it, it's kind of in our health, our relationships, our faith, our businesses, anything you can think of. We really forget to realize that there's a constant evolution of constant growth actually if we're doing it in a way that creates consistent growth. And when it comes to finances, I think this happens even more. And the reason I say that is because just when you kind of attack or attach yourself to a limiting belief, you work yourself into that. You start doing the work and the values and the beliefs and the whys and how you can change that or create something different in that. And all of a sudden you're in it, you're doing it, and something else comes up. And that, my friends, is evolution. And I have found myself in that spot recently. And it's been so interesting. One, because I thought that whole scarcity value belief system I had let go of many years ago. But then I took a step back, looked at the reflection, and realized I've been honestly undoing or unraveling that scarcity mindset for years. And every year it's something different, whether that's how I spend money on our family or how we spend money as a family, whether that's how we invest in coaching or our growth, whether it's what we're doing in the business and what I'm asking or charging for my clients, whether I accept a client out of the thought process that I need to accept a client versus I want to accept a client, right? Scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. And I have been unraveling so many of those that I forgot to take a second and look at other things in my life. And so the first thing is our nonprofit, Fostering the Summit. We gave birth to Fostering the Summit in 2025, and we committed to covering all the overhead expenses for 2025 as we put it out into the world, right? And 2026 rolled around, and we had an amazing first year, just something that filled us up. And I'm not just talking like a dollar amount, but like growth and community and people rallying around the mission. And as we walked into 2026, I found myself doing the exact same thing as 2025. Oh, I'll just cover all the expenses. I'll just make sure that there's no overhead so that it's, we're stewarding. I was putting an emotion around the fact that I have to steward every cent of the money that people are donating. And don't get me wrong, I do, but not to my own deficit. If I believe in the foundation, I have to believe in the fact that it will support itself. And I have to start allowing it to do that. We are so guilty of this in everything we do, right? We're like, oh, but if I do this, then it'll happen. But what about believing in the opportunity for investors? And when I say investors, you guys take a second and think about that. An investor is someone that shares your message. An investor is someone that donates money, absolutely, or hires you in your business. But an investor is also you. You invest in that mission. You invest in that message. You invest in that business by believing, by charging the amount that you need to, by firing the client that drains you completely, by investing in the coach that's going to help you get to the next level, by saying, I am going to invest in my time and do the work, create the foundation of the business, of the dream, of the book, whatever it is. But we live in that scarcity. If I just work harder, if I just cover the expenses so that the foundation can get the solid start. But that is telling that energy. Remember, everything in the world is energy. We are telling the energy it's not going to make it by itself. It's not going to hit this number this year because we are not believing in it. And for some of you listening, you're going to be like, this is way beyond normalcy. I challenge you. Actually, you know what, you guys? I double dog dare you to believe in the mission, the book, the business, the foundation, more than the limiting belief, more than the limiting belief around the money. So as I was sitting this morning and walking on the treadmill, I realized I'm doing this because once again, there's some overhead expenses that we have had to have in the foundation this year. Very important overhead expenses. We invested $176 in a grant station program that helps us find grants. Like, this is a revenue builder. I covered that expense. I'm hiring a social media strategist to double our social media presence, right? And that means emails, that means social media, that means wherever it is. And I found myself saying, oh, I'll cover it. I need to invest in ChatGPT paid version or AI paid version for the foundation so that we can begin to build its voice. And the paid version is the only way you can do that. This is how we write grants. This is what we get help with for social media, right? AI is a powerful VA for any new business, but also just seasoned business. And I need to invest. And I found myself saying, oh, I'll just do that through the business again as a donation. And I thought, Corey, what are you doing? What are you doing to hold yourself back, to put the energy out there that you are not believing in what you say you're believing in? Because if I am not believing that the foundation, that the best steward of that money is to build the revenue, build the presence, build the social media and email subscribers, then I don't believe in it. And so I was sitting there drafting an email to my board saying, guess what, guys, I'm wrong. And we need to make a decision here. And it was such a beautiful way of reflecting on my own journey. And what I want to share is I hope that you can see this as the way that you progress through any evolution of you, any evolution of what you're doing or building or dreaming of. But if you don't believe, nobody else will. If you don't give faith, and faith means action, it means investing, it means, having overhead this year. We had no overhead last year because we covered it all. So this year, not only do we want to grow, but we're going to have overhead, which means our net is going to be lower. But is it? Because if I believe enough to invest in that overhead to say this foundation is worth it, it is going to change lives and it is going to happen, that energy is part of that success. So when you think about scarcity, I want you to ask yourself, what am I actually telling the story of? So let's just say you have a book in your mind. Let's say you dream of writing a book, but you've been told that you've believed that only creative people write books. I'm not creative. I don't have the time. Maybe you dream of your business growing double revenue this year. Well, my friends, unless you have grown another person, how do you grow double revenue, which is double time? Are you still living in scarcity that if I increase my prices, if I go to a value-based system, if I hire someone on, I'm not going to make it? That's scarcity. And it's not believing in you. When we accept what is given versus what we deserve, if we accept what is offered versus coming back with what is deserved, what you provide, then that's the energy your business holds. So I want you to ask yourself today, where am I holding scarcity still? If you haven't picked up Emotional Money, I challenge you. It's a workbook that walks you through a few of these steps that is consistent. It's not a magic pill. It is a consistent evolution. Pick up the book. It's on Amazon. I'll drop the link. Work through it. Maybe jump right to the scarcity versus abundance side. But I challenge you to start at the beginning, because sometimes we can't even see those behaviors until we actually understand behaviors, values, and beliefs. So I hope this unlocks something in you today about scarcity, about abundance, but more about truth. Until next time, remember, the best thing you can do for us is download, share, and leave a review. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love you. Mean it.